Rule number one. Thank you. Wow. You guys know it's a talk and not a comedy show, right? Just someone at the back is like, hey, jokes na. I mean, rule number one of joke writing, come up with original content. Nonetheless, let's start the timer. First of all, can we have a big round of applause for all the speakers who came up and spoke? It was absolutely fantastic. I cannot tell you how shrouded in obscurity my career feels right now. Because everyone who spoke is giving to the society. The only reason I am here on this stage performing in front of you is because I have cops behind me. Not supporting, but otherwise, right? Nonetheless. Ladies and gentlemen, for the people who don't know, which is most of you, nonetheless, my name is Abish Mathew, without the S, but I need Healthify to become singular from pure plugging it. Okay, I'm Abish Mathew. I'm a stand-up comedian. I make online videos. I work with brands on digital solutions. And my latest found talent is to use recycled paper to use as my TEDx cue sheets. This is actually a script from last night's show, which I wrote my talk on. That's fine. First of all, let me start off with this. How many of you here are really ambitious? Make some noise. Do you look at ambition as a good thing or do you look at it as a bad thing? Good. It's a good thing. Why? Because it's very individualistic. It's very selfish. Think about this for one moment. Everybody who's here is somebody who's given something to society. They're not looking at their own individual growth. They're looking at education. They're looking at making other people healthier. They're looking at reporting news that probably you would not know. But the fact is that you and I, as a generation, are very selfish. This question will probably come to you, not right now because you're just passing out of college, but later on when you start doing a profession that you really like, right? You'll be like, hey, you're ambitious. You have an ambition, but that's so selfish. But when that question arises, which it will, know the answer is that even though ambition is selfish, you are going to do some collateral advantages for other people. Your ambition is going to drive other people to be more ambitious, which will lead this generation, not just the country, but also to the world, to a better place, right? Now, having said that, the reason I said that is I will tell you why a little later. Now, let's start off with the topic, right? How many of you know what the topic is? Excelsior, right? Dreams to reality. So it's a great topic for a talk, but it's an even better tagline for a property print ad. True? Excelsior heights, dream homes to reality. Just a few words and the meaning completely changes. My entire point, my point was, why these property ads? Why do they even exist? How do they know what my dream home is? I never dreamt of a 2 BHK semi-furnished house at the outskirts of a city in an under construction building, living alone in a family, with my closest living neighbor being that pigeon who has a nest over my AC. Whose toilet is that electrical wire right above my car. That's not my dream home. Joke done, let's go to some serious issues. Now, now here's what I really wanted to tell you guys. I am very ambitious. I have an aim, I have ambition, and I have a goal. My goal, my dream, and my ambition is to do the Tonight Show. Right? Slightly vague. Why are you plugging an NBC property in India which does not exist? My dream is to do the Tonight Show. I'm on camera saying this to you, saying that why is he dreaming of this? I'll tell you why. The reason I have such a specific aim since class 12th, knowing very well that I might not be able to host it, is because bringing me to the first point which I wanted to tell you is dream specific. Don't dream money. Don't dream fame. It's not a genie. It won't come to you. Don't dream I want to become a CEO. Become the CEO of the company that you want. Start an entrepreneurship that you want. Be specific. What I mean by that is literally visualize yourself on that stage, on that chair, because from there things become easier. Now, I know very well the reason I said the Tonight Show is because probably I would never be able to host a Tonight Show. A brown guy from India going all the way to the US and performing for them when I have great audiences in India to perform, right? The reason I chose that dream is because it is way out of my capacity. But because I have that dream, I will follow each and every footstep to get there. Let me give you a clear example. when the internet came out, right? First comedian I saw on YouTube was Russell Peter, right? And I was like, what is this guy doing? It's amazing. I want to talk like this guy and like make people laugh. But at that time, I couldn't have done that because my dreams were all over the place because I was studying history, so I could take the UPSC exam. If I ever became an Indian foreign, like if I represented India abroad, the delegation would have gone quietly wrong, is all I want to say, right? Not very easy to take a short guy with a beard who looks like Sachin Tendulkar, but. But I started doing comedy in 2009 when the question used to be, Beta, to tum aur kya karte ho? Matlab, this is all hobby. To now, when I can look at somebody in the eye and tell them I'm a stand-up comedian and not be judged. Stand-up comedy in India has become slightly more mainstream. It's become so mainstream that now I'm judged in a very different way. Where uncles are coming up to say, stand-up comedy, do you know Kapil Sharma? No, sir. Russell Peter? No, sir. Oh. It's okay. Now, I have no tricks, okay? I have nothing. I am not worthy to be on this stage. I am not. I have no tricks. I have no tips to give you. I have nothing to give you, right? The only thing I'm good at is writing jokes. And jokes is a 50-50% hit rate. Some of you will like it. Some of you will hate it. It's not even a love-hate relationship. It's a like and hate relationship. We still do what we do because we believe that there has got to be a place for people to laugh. That's about it. That's where I will stop right there. The reason I'm saying I don't have 3 steps to do this, or 2 ways to become a comedian, or to become a better orator, or for that matter, be following your dream into your reality, is because I'm not a BuzzFeed list. But there are these 3 things I personally follow, which I thought I should just generally share. Just like my jokes, if you don't find it interesting enough, please feel free to throw it. Tweet a photograph, a selfie saying, this guy sucked. That's fine. Hashtag Abish, son of Abish, so that more people come to the show. Nonetheless, my point is, the reason I said the number 1 point is to dream specifically is because when you dream specific, you make your own steps. Now, here's another point you need to remember, it's a ground rule. If you keep doing one thing for long enough, you become good at it. Or people drop their standards and then you become good at it, right? Whichever the case, if you do anything long enough, you become good at it. And then I would like to, then's the question, okay, I'm good at this. Where is the money? Remember the quote from Dark Knight. If you're good at something, never do it for free. Now here's the thing, money will always follow if you're good at something because that's a skill you have. Nobody else does. There is no market for that skill. But because you're good at it, you will create a market for that skill. Now here I just want to cite an example of a friend comedian of mine who I'm not going to name. Back in 2009 in Delhi, we started out doing comedy together. Now because I have confidence on stage, I would say utter nonsense, which is not even funny. People would say, oh, it's at least interesting. Right? They would never say you're bad. They would say you were interesting. Good effort. A for effort. Even though it's with an E. I still got that, right? There was another friend of mine, a comedian, who, my friend, was told to leave stage. Was told that you do not have the flair to have comedy. He continued every day for 2 hours. I'm not even making this up. It's not like written in like some legendary thing. I saw him work. 10 in the morning to 12 in the afternoon. He used to sit and write jokes, just one-liners. Horrible, 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 horrible. One decent one. Horrible, 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 horrible. Horrible, 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 horrible. This doesn't look bad. 3rd day. Horrible, 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 horrible. This kind of works. I don't know. He took these 3 jokes on stage, the next open mic, and he got a thunderous applause. A year later, he became one of Delhi's finest comics. 3 years, 4 years later, he is one of the best writers in India. I'm not going to take his name, but he is kind of my inspiration every time someone looks at me and says that I'm not good at it, because if you keep doing anything for long enough, you become good at that. And believe that, right? The only thing you need to remember is that if you have an ambition, let it be a good ambition that can affect other people. Because I got inspired by his selfish ambition to write a good joke. He didn't have me as an inspiration. I never quote him as an inspiration. Just because selfishly he kept doing what he wanted to do and become better at his craft, I got inspired to work. So he wrote 2 hours. I started spending 2 minutes every day, which is good enough for a guy like me. Now remember, now if you have an aim, right, set an aim, set a very specific aim, very, very specific aim. Don't move, very specific aim, and try to see, dream everything. Like dream how it feels to be on that seat. For me, how it feels to be on that stage. Then you say, what will be the hurdles? I'm a brown guy. Fine. For you, you don't have any experience, right? Dream the solutions to those problems. Literally daydream. If a teacher comes up to you daydreaming, just say, Abish told you to do so. Not even kidding, it kind of works. Now, I don't know about the teacher bit, but it, hopefully now it should. Now, my most important part of my talk is actually the second point, right? Which is not very glorious, which is never covered. It's called one for the kitchen, one for the soul. How many of you know what that means? Okay. It means when you follow a passion, you do one project for the kitchen that gives you money, which doesn't give you any artistic. It does not make you feel very artistic, but you're just doing it, right? And the other one is for the soul, that you really want to follow. Something that you really want to do. So if I want to start a school, I will start a school, but I need to do some other project so I can fund money to that school. If you have an app, you're going to create that app, but you have to live at 32 rupees a day for that to be filled. So one for the kitchen, one for the soul. If I have a show called Son of Abish, which is running, first 3 shows only 30 people turned up, but I needed to do other writing work, which I'm horrible at, but I told you, if you do it for long enough, people drop their standards in my case. I wrote those projects, got that money, funded it back to my own project. What I'm trying to say is that this is the most non-glorious bit about your own industry that no one will talk about. If there's a biopic about you, nobody's going to talk about what he did as one for the kitchen. Everyone said, look at him, he was amazing from the beginning. He only did what he loved to do. In the middle, you have to make those small sacrifices because you do have responsibilities. Remember, it's a very temporary thing. You know why? It's because of the third and the most important point. Third important point which I just want to talk about is, the first one was dream specific. Second was one for the kitchen, one for the soul. And the last one, which is my favorite, is be a creator, not a doer. What that means is, if you're going to be employees tomorrow, you're on the mercy of your bosses for a raise. Start your own things. Start your own things so that you don't have to be answerable to anyone and you can lead by example. If everybody in this room is actually a leader, you have no idea how much work will get done in this country. How much? 2020? Superpower? It's not that far away. My only request is that if you're an actor, right, or if you're a photographer, actors waiting for an acting project won't get anything to do. Write a script, learn how to direct it, be bad at it, but keep doing it for long enough and you will get better at it. Start a YouTube channel, bam, you might become big. Humans of New York, he's a photographer. Do you think he was waiting for wedding projects to come so he can take photographs? He started his own projects. I'm sure he does his own other works to fund himself. But now his passion project has become an inspiration to a generation. With non-humans of Bombay, humans of Delhi, and the works. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now before I actually go, I wanted to talk to you about something very specific. Is the fact that as a generation, we are obsessed with one thing, it's called cricket, right? Are we obsessed with cricket or are we not obsessed with cricket? Make some noise if you're obsessed with cricket. Yes. Yeah, you love cricket, right? Bollywood, if you love Bollywood, make some noise. Oh. Hollywood, do you like the Hollywood cinema? It's amazing because everybody, the only reason you're here right now is, by the way, I feel very lucky to be here, but you are luckier because you're in this beautiful university. As a country, we're obsessing about cricket, right? And I think it's a good thing to obsess about cricket. It's because I personally like the IPL, right? I personally like the IPL. It's branded well. It's cricket for the attention deficit disorder. It's beautiful. You know, the IPL has invested in something called the super slow motion camera. Have you seen that? It's beautiful, right? Because everything is super slow. Because in regular motion, you get to see someone walking slow and you don't know what's going on. But in super slow motion camera, you get to see each and every movement of every emotion that goes on into a cricket player's mind. You know you're watching the IPL in super slow motion when you see a cricket player go. That's just Virat Kohli entering the stadium. Right? But the best has got to be Mahendra Singh Dhoni catching a ball. Because that's amazing. Because you see Mahendra Singh Dhoni in regular motion going, out! Right? But in super slow motion camera, this is what going down. He goes, Mudfake boy! मेरा बच्चा है! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Abish Mathew. Thank you for listening to me. You've been a great audience. Have a good night. Thank you, man.